What's up, guys? Nick here from Nick's Movie Picks, and welcome to episode 4 of the podcast, where tonight we're going to be discussing X-Men Apocalypse. Now, before we get into it, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Mike Lord.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing tonight?
What's up, man? X-Men. Something true and dear to your heart.
Oh, I've been waiting for this all my life, Nick. All my life.
All right. Get to see Apocalypse. All right. Well, this movie, of course, it just came out this year. I think around May,
Right.
Yeah. I think like the middle or end of May. Bryan Singer coming back again, doing his 4th X-Men film. Now, I want to get your opinion on this. Bryan Singer, as a director, which ones are your favorite X-Men movies?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. I really liked Apocalypse. I really liked Apocalypse.
So that would be your favorite right now?
You know what? It's either between that or Days of Future Past. However, you know what? For me, it's really a tie, and it's crazy because a lot of people didn't feel the way that I felt about Apocalypse.
Right. Well, I'm probably one of those people. I enjoyed it. No, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I just have some problems. We're going to get into that. All right, so Bryan Singer comes back. I like this version of Apocalypse. I like the movie. Certain things just were hit or miss with me. Some of the characters, like I kind of want to see this franchise kind of move forward with these new characters. I don't need to see any of these old people no more, and let's get an original story here. Let's move forward.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I definitely like the new cast that they casted to play the parts. And when they had first done it, I was a little hesitant because, a lot of us had grew up from back, early 2000s watching the early X-Men movies. So, change, it isn't always a bad thing.
And not
in
only
this case,
that,
it was good.
The animated series, the X-Men animated series,
Yeah.
growing up. I mean, that's kind of, I think, where these new characters are being based off of.
Right.
Hopefully we'll see that progress. All right, let's get into some of these characters.
Okay.
Jennifer Lawrence coming back. There was some talk saying that she kind of mailed it in on this one. She wasn't really, Jennifer Lawrence, esque acting. I kind of seen it a little bit. I think she kind of is like, might be tired of playing this role now. Supposedly she was said that she doesn't want to play it anymore. Then they were saying that she'd play it again. So, it's kind of one of those things where I don't know where she's going to go with this character.
Right, and I think
With Mystique.
the progression of Mystique over the years has just been, it's kind of been all over the place, to be honest with you. I mean, and the new Mystique that we got in this movie, I could kind of see that where she seems a little bit disconnected. However, if you look into her character and you can kind of see how she's, kind of on the run and kind of away from everybody, and she's got this,
Right.
she's kind of got this dark side to her to begin with.
Right. Well, it's not like she's a bad guy, I guess, in this movie.
Right.
I think in the comic books it's more portrayed that she's like the villain side.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she's like a lone wolf. She's like a mercenary. Like she's on her own.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like in this movie at the end. I mean, spoiler alert. We're talking about this like where we watched this all together.
Right.
Is she leading the X-Men at the end?
Oh, come on.
Is she leading the X-Men at the end? That's kind of
we've
weird.
already had this discussion. At the end when Professor X is sitting there with Magneto, you know who's in control. And I think he makes it clear when he says that, he feels sorry for the fool that comes and tries to attack his school.
Yeah.
We all know who leads the X-Men, Nick.
Okay. Well, speaking of Professor X, James McAvoy comes back to reprise his role as Professor X. And
Right.
I'll tell you what, that's one of the highlights of these new movies.
Mm-hmm.
His portrayal as Professor X and Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Magneto, yeah.
They're perfect. I mean, when they came in at first class, just the relationship, the back and forth. I mean, it worked totally, and I believe that these characters are, these older characters, young selves, iteration of their young selves in these new movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen what's that movie with Fassbender with the bullets that. I can't remember the name. I'll have to find it.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I mean, I think Prometheus is when I really got my first real good taste of Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender, okay.
But,
okay, I've seen a couple of good movies with him. But okay, so in this movie, okay, let's talk about Michael Fassbender real quick.
All right.
Magneto.
Okay.
Okay. So again, something happens that sets him off. The killing of his wife and his daughter.
Right. It's
that's the poke in the bear.
post-traumatic stress disorder. Nick.
Exactly.
That's what
There
I'm
you
calling
go.
it.
That's
All
what
right.
you're calling it.
All right.
Okay, so now he's back. He's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So what? Apocalypse comes, recruits him. he's like, they're destroying things. I just don't. My problem with the part of the movie is at the end. At the end of the movie, Michael Fassbender, Magneto's character, just walks away from all this murder and destruction that happened in Egypt.
I mean, there's so many different ways they could have spun that. I mean, you got to remember, this is back in the 80s when this took place. They didn't have news coverage the same back then, and it would have very been
there
easily
was no
to
social
say.
media. It didn't blow up on the Twitter.
All right, look, if I'm Magneto, this is how I'm playing it. I mean, hey, listen, this guy came here. He took control of me. All right, once I got control of myself, I put an X in the ground, and I stood up for my friends who I betrayed, and I put it down. That's what he did.
I can dig it.
Yeah, I mean, and I like his role, and you know what? I love the story. I love how twisted that he's become over the years, of how much pain and how much suffering he's gone through. I just like it. I dig it.
Well, yeah, he brought it. I liked how his acting in the movie, and of course it's Michael Fassbender, so there was nothing to complain about on that end.
Right.
All right, so with their characters, with Magneto and Professor X, always with that kind of back and forth, like they're both with the same cause, that they want to help mutants.
Mm-hmm.
They just have different ways of
Right.
of reaching that goal. So. Moving on to maybe some of these new characters.
Oh,
right? Ty Sheridan with Cyclops, and then who was the girl that played Storm?
Well, that's Storm. I'm not 100% sold on her character. You told me these new characters coming in, and as well as I do, there is one character that I'm dying to speak of. All right, I'm sorry. I don't want to switch gears here. But Sophie Turner, and for those of you who don't know about her, she was born February 21st, 1996, and she's an English-based actor. And, some of the more notable roles she's played has been in Game of Thrones as Sansa Stark. And, a lot of people, I think there was some mixed reviews out there about her overall acting. What did you think about it?
Well, Sophie Turner, like you said, Game of Thrones, I am not watching Game of Thrones as of right now. It's on my list of things to do, so I can't really,
right.
go back to her performances in that. So, but for me, I think she was good. She was okay.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with the character and what they did is at the end with the Phoenix thing. Like I think they could have built up to that. Like we didn't have to see that right then and there.
Oh, I loved it.
I would have liked to seen her character with Scott Summers, Cyclops, build on, if that's what they're gonna do. I would have liked to seen that more.
Well, I think I think that's coming though. I think it's too early.
It's coming. It's coming.
Because think about it. You had Professor X. He was tucking her in. I mean, she's a little girl. I mean, at the end of the day, she's a young girl. I mean, if she was a grown woman, she wouldn't be getting tucked in by him.
How old is she supposed to be in the movie? She's like a teenager, right?
Right.
She looks older than the teenager.
Listen.
Okay. So Ty Sheridan, the new Cyclops.
Right. Okay.
This guy was on the zombie, the Boy Scouts Guide to Zombie or something like that. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember.
It was pretty good, and I didn't even realize that it was him. Until we're watching the movie, and then it like a light bulb. I was like, holy crap, that's the kid from the Boy Scout movie. But I think he portrayed Scott Summers really good. And then the whole storyline about like how his brother died. What was it, Havoc?
Right.
His brother was Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
How his brother died, and now he's kind of like living in his brother's footsteps now, trying to do the right thing and joining the school and being a whole part of that whole X-Men thing that he was a part of.
Right.
So I like the character of the new Cyclops. And then the other one, Nightcrawler. How about Nightcrawler?
I really liked that role, man. Honestly, when I saw him play that role, the first thing I thought about was Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, it literally took me back to Saturday morning X-Men, and I thought that was great, especially for our generation, because, the previous Nightcrawler, although he was really cool, I never really felt a connection to him. But this one, he was more interactive. He had some jokes. I mean, I thought it was great. I thought it was cool.
I liked how he had like a sense of humor, and like you said, like it's because they're young kids, they're teenagers, so I think they really shined on that. Now, Nicholas Hoult comes back as Beast, and we get to see some more Beastie moments, and I always like that. I like to see Beast go off bad. He was kind of my favorite character of the X-Men back in the day. What'd you think about him?
I thought he did pretty good as Beast. I'm more used to reading the older comic books when Beast was a little bit older, so kind of getting the spin back on him when he's younger, it's kind of new for me, and I think it's pretty cool. And as far as he goes as an actor, I didn't know how busy he's been over the last few years. He's been in Mad Max, Warm Bodies. I had no idea.
Yeah, he's been on a roll right now. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult, man, definitely check him out. He's talented.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, a character in this movie that looked badass. I mean, I couldn't wait to see her was Psylocke. And then when we watched it, it was kind of a disappointment. I mean, she had
Really?
maybe a few lines here and there. She had a couple of cool scenes, but I mean, for me, my opinion, when you really think about it, the character was just, not there. There was nothing there for it.
Right, and either I think they were really stupid for doing it, or they were really smart. Because honestly, in my opinion, yes, I agree with you. I wanted a lot more. However, I still want a lot more, and I think that she's got the
Because she walks away.
yeah. Well, I mean,
walks away, like she gets away.
well, moving forward, I mean, she's got the storyline behind it. She's got the actual looks to play the role. I mean, I think they may
like a
have
solo
something.
movie or something, or
I wouldn't
or
be
Definitely
surprised.
see her in the future in another X-Men.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I would not be surprised at all.
I'd have to agree. So, all right, let's talk about a scene in the movie. We have to talk about the Quicksilver scene. Everybody was anticipating the Quicksilver scene. You knew it was coming,
Right.
ever since Days of Future Past. That scene that he pulled off in there in that kitchen at the Pentagon. I mean, just blew everyone's minds. And I remember when the photos came out of his character from Days of Future Past, everyone was like, "What the hell is this? What is this kid wearing? Like, this is gonna be stupid." This ends up being one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh, right.
So in this one, he's got a similar scene, to show off how fast he really is, and it's a scene actually where Scott Summers' brother, I think is that the scene that he dies?
Right,
And
right.
The mansion explodes and all that. So he goes in there, he's saving everyone. I mean, there's great scenes of him throwing people out the window and the dog or something with the pizza in the mouth and flapping its lips and everything. I thought the scene just captured Quicksilver again, and it's still one of the best scenes in that movie.
I mean, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I really don't know what else to say. I think you covered it all on that one. The other thing that I might bring up would be the comparisons for how he is portrayed in, say, the last Avengers movie versus what we have now.
I like this one way better.
I agree. I agree
like this
100%.
one way better. Yeah, the one from Avengers: Age of Ultron. Aaron Taylor, I believe Aaron Taylor, the kid that played Kick-Ass.
Right.
I loved him in Kick-Ass. But for whatever in Avengers: Age of Ultron, it was like the voice just didn't do it for me. Like it looked like he was acting. It looked like he was trying to do a fake voice. It just didn't work for me. But this Quicksilver, I'm glad. I'm not saying that I'm glad that they killed the other one off. But if we're gonna see Quicksilver on the screen, I'd rather see this iteration because
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Now let me ask you a question. What did you think about Wolverine's role in this movie? I know there was some mixed reviews. I know.
I didn't. You know what? Like when I knew it was coming. Like it was just predictable. It was so predictable. It's like, who's the thing? Yeah, it's Wolverine, Weapon X, whatever however you want to call him. And then when he comes out, I don't know. Like he looked like a used Brillo pad or something. I don't know. He looked old, like an old man with Brillo pads on his head. His hair was all scraggly with what's that? What's that? A Nintendo like Power Pack thing or something? Like
and they didn't do the best job of portraying him with the whole
know.
Weapon X box on his head. I mean,
it was.
There was some
really
mixed reviews on it, but I mean, I did like the fact that number one, they featured him in the movie. I definitely thought it added a cool little twist to it. Now, I guess we have to put in.
That was just for us, the fans.
Well, I mean, they're kind of paying homage though. If you look back to the old Weapon X and the way that he was programmed, he was an animal. He didn't know what he was doing.
More of a device to. All right, he's the one that's going to kill all the guards in the place instead of having the young characters do it. He's the device to have kill everybody. And it was cool to see. Did we see blood?
Oh yeah, we saw.
Did we
blood.
see like a blood
Oh,
spatter
absolutely.
and stuff? Yeah,
absolutely.
So I remember seeing that. I thought that was cool, but in and out. He was in and out. I think he had that moment where gazing into Jean's eyes, your girl, and I think she showed him something. She definitely unlocked something in his head, and then he bolts out the back door. I guess trying to find whatever she showed him. So I guess wherever Hugh Jackman. I'm not sure we're gonna get this last Wolverine movie, and that's probably gonna be it for him. So.
Well, I'm excited they gave it an R rating. I really hope they go down the Deadpool path with that one. Now, what did you think about that end fighting scene? Because I'm going to be honest with you. In my book, I just thought it was epic. There were so many parts of that, in my opinion, that were just like, like boom, like in your face.
Right.
Just
yeah.
epic, chills down the spine. I mean, I'll give you an example of a few of them. When Magneto drops the X, when Jean unleashes the Phoenix on Apocalypse. I mean, those are just a couple of them. Scott Summers when he lets it rip with his eyes at first at Apocalypse. I mean, to me, those were epic scenes.
Those were, and those are scenes that were like taken right out of the comic books. I mean, you can see those kind of scenes in those iterations. But but for me, the end scene. I mean, let's just real quick. I mean, Apocalypse, the actual villain in this, played by
Right,
Oscar
okay.
Isaac. You see the storyline where the Egyptians are like, in the beginning it's like, God, like he's a god. He's all these mythical, like, stories you heard in the past are all linked to him. That's how they drew this all together. And with Apocalypse, how did you feel about him being the reason why Charles Xavier is bald?
Well, I knew it had to happen. I'm glad they were able to figure out, a way that we all could comprehend it.
Okay, I was really wondering about that, 'cause I didn't know if I was the only one that I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like.
At first, I think me, you, and Hal, we joked around about the way Apocalypse looked in the beginning versus how he looked in the comic books. And I understand maybe they wanted to give him a more human twist.
Like an Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers, they were saying.
I mean, and I don't know, man. Some of his interactions with the Archangel and some of the other, some of the, some of the.
When he was putting the team together, I kind of had some problems with the Archangel scene. I felt like a rock concert. It just felt off. Like we're in a different movie right now. I'm not sure. And then we get back to the movie.
Well, you know what? We're talking about it right now. So you know what? It worked.
I guess so. Point X-Men. All right. So at the end fight scene, they all gather up. Wait. How about Quicksilver? Like, proclaiming that Magneto's his father, and those are pretty funny scenes and stuff like that. And when Mystique sees him with Quicksilver, and he's in that ball or whatever with all the metal flying, and he could have told him there. I don't know why he didn't tell him, I'm your son. That kind of bothered me. I was like, tell him you're his son. He might have stopped everything right there, stopped the destruction. Boom. Realize that I betrayed my friends. Oh my God, I have a son. I need to do the right thing.
Yeah, no, and at first I felt the same way. I was like, man, I wish you would have just told him. But you know what? It kind of added
Everyone
a little
else
bit to
knows.
the suspense. It added a little bit more. You were waiting
knows
for
except
it.
him. Oh well, whatever. So
What
yeah,
can you do?
the end fight scene, I thought it was great. There was definitely moments in there that I was clamming up, fanboy, like visually it was just like stunning.
Oh yeah.
With him getting into his head, they have the head fight scene, like the brains going at it, who's more powerful, and then come to find out Apocalypse was taking your boy Professor X out, and he had to call Jean for help. Had to get Jean, unleash your powers.
Yeah, and I think that initially when we first saw that scene, a lot of people were kind of drawn back, like, wow, maybe he overacted it. But if you kind of look at it and watch it again, it's kind of like that twisted mad scientist scene.
Right.
And I mean,
right.
let's be honest. Jean Grey, the Phoenix, Class 5 mutant.
Class 5.
I mean, come on. Who's messing with her?
Is she the strongest?
Who's messing with her?
Is she the strongest? That's up for debate.
We'll see.
I don't know. But all right, so overall, I mean, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie. No movie's perfect. This wasn't my most favorite comic book movie, but I did enjoy it. I had some problems with it, like every other movie. I had problems with it, but if I were going to give it a score,
right,
I'd probably have to give it a 7.5.
7.5.
I think it's a good movie to watch. It's enjoyable. It's pop some popcorn, enjoy the night, and watch a good comic book movie.
Right. And I don't think you're too far off on that. We did a little bit of research, and what were those numbers you came up with? A 7.3 out of 10 from IMDb.
Yeah, that, and then
Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know if you want to hear Rotten Tomatoes.
Go
score,
ahead.
but,
I mean, it's not like they're
Rotten
really
Tomatoes
credible.
gave it a 47. So
all right, we'll know what he
I don't
cares
know if that's
about,
considered fresh, but that's I think what is it, critically, it might have got hammered,
right?
But by the fans, by theater goers, I think most of us enjoyed ourselves. And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, let's see here, box office 534 million. I mean, I don't know, is that worldwide, or that's got to be worldwide? I don't know if that's.
I don't even know. I mean, I think by regular standards, it may have underachieved a bit, but I mean, really, it's just really, really unheralded. I mean, it's so underrated, in my opinion. I mean, as for me, I'll be honest with you. I gave it a, oh boy, I'm teetering right now between an 8 and an 8.5.
All right.
I'd probably go closer to an 8.5, and that's strictly because I'm biased. My childhood revolved around collecting comic books, strictly X-Men comic books. But I really enjoyed the end scene. I really liked what Sophie Turner brought to the table. the transition from her being Sansa Stark to now moving into this Jean Grey role. I mean, I thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So,
Oh, me too. Most definitely. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen next, how these characters go on, and what they do. Hopefully they have like a storyline with these new characters, the young X-Men, and get to see that 80s kind of, because I think that's the next movie should be in the 90s.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
Well,
but
here's a zinger coming at you. All right, now when we have Infinity Wars coming, any chance we see the X-Men there?
I don't think so, man.
No, I mean, not
maybe
even Wolverine?
Fantastic Four.
Oh, shoot.
Maybe Fantastic Four.
They can keep the Fantastic Four.
There's rumblings that Fox might make a deal with Marvel or something like that. But you never know. You never know what happened with Spider-Man. Everyone said that would never happen. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to the future of the X-Men.
Right, I agree.
And I'm really excited to see what they do next with the new young cast.
So am I, brother.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to end it for our X-Men Apocalypse podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I'd like to thank my co-host, Mike Lord, for being here with me tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, tune in next week for a brand new episode. Peace.